Hello, I'm Jim. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to look at Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. And it starts out, the narrator, Casaubon, not sure how to say his name, it's present day, which at the time this was written was in the 80s. And he's sneaking into the Science Museum in Paris to try to observe a secret meeting that's going to happen at midnight. So he sneaks in and he's hiding out until midnight to see what's going on. And while he's in there contemplating, what he's doing, he flashes back to what brought him to the museum at that particular time. And the flashback goes back to his college days when he was doing his doctoral thesis on the trial of the Knights Templar back in the day, and so he's kind of an expert on that. And while he was in school, he befriended an editor of a publication or a publishing company that specializes in historical books and kind of obscure books and really literary type works. And he befriends Jacopo Belbo, and happens to the next day have a visit. He's having a visit from an author who would like to write a book about the Knights Templar. So he invites Casaubon over to meet with him just so he can see if the guy knows anything about what he's talking about and whether it'd be worthwhile to pursue. So that's the kind of the beginning of their friendship, and they listen to this Colonel Ardenti, who tells them a tale about the Knights Templar. The Ardenti he seems to know enough about the Knights and their history that he kind of knows what he's talking about, and the history of the trial and what happened. But he claims he came across a document hidden underground in a case that shows the Templars' plan, which would to like secretly take over the world, much as the New World Order is doing today. But the plan consists of every 120 years, 36 knights, and the numbers are all important for various reasons. 36 of the Knights Templar of one sect or another. There's like 6 or so sects of the broken off from the original knights. And every 120 years they'll meet and expose the next step in the plan. So by the 80s, or by the 80s, this plan should have already been unfolding, or actually by the time we talked to Ardenti, the plan should have already have unfolded. But something must have happened because it didn't happen. So there was like a miscommunication between one group or another. And so he has come forward to try to publish his book in order to draw out the other secret societies and let them know he knows what to do to reset the plan. So he has this document that he goes through and explains, this is what's happening, this is what the next step in the plan is. Anyway, he knows enough about what he's talking about, but Casaubon and Belbo both kind of think he's nuts. So Belbo gives him the "Don't call us, we'll call you" speech, and they send him on his way without a publishing deal. And so they don't really think much of it. They kind of laugh it off. But the next day, an inspector comes to talk to them because they were last people on this colonel's appointment book, and he mysteriously disappeared. Uh, so for some reason or another, Belbo doesn't go and discuss precisely the document that they talked about, just that he wanted to write a book, and they said no. So they didn't go into details, and the police kind of move on because they really didn't have any suspicions or anything. But the story goes on the next several years. It takes place, like I said, from the 60s to the 80s. So the next 20 years or so, they go about their lives, but they keep running into the occult business in different forms. And their publisher decides he wants to publish a book on that kind of an encyclopedia composing all the occult sects and secrets and scenarios, and put them in one volume. So they kind of by then Casaubon, however you say it, is part of the company with Belbo, and they also have a friend Diotallevi, I think, or Diotallevi. I can't remember which way. I don't want to look it up right now. Diotallevi, I think, and the three of them kind of put a call out for other crackpot conspiracy theorists and secret society types to see what they got, if it's worthy of publishing in part of their book. So they bring in these people, and of course everybody has this part of the plan, that part of the plan, and so they kind of weed out the better stories, and some of them get book deals, some get added to the big book, and some are sent away. They uh, also bring in Comte de Saint Germain, or also known as Agli. Casaubon met him in Brazil, and he is definitely a member of some secret society. And he claims or implies that he's one of the immortals, and that he speaks about a lot of the history of these secret sects and goings on as though he were there. So he's an interesting character, comes into their life, and they kind of hire him as a consultant to weed out the more crackpot of the crackpot ideas. So their plan is going along, and they decide at some point that this is really interesting. Let's just they see connections and this and that, and everything is connected to everything else, and they decide to make their own plan, and they come up with they're better at it than they think the what they call the diabolicals that have come forward. Their plan is a little more sophisticated. It's a little more elegant. It seems to be more thought out, and they come up with different ways to make things fit, and that the reason that the plan failed so far is because of the Gregorian calendar upsetting the Julian calendar. So two of the groups missed out by just a matter of days. What the meeting that was supposed to take place, and that is what caused the disruption and requires this reset that's supposedly going on. Anyway, the more they develop this plan, the more things that they think that are fictional seem to be coming true, and they get more involved and deeper into this conspiracy of secret societies, ending up with kind of a climactic result that kind of unexpected, but brings them back to the present day in the museum. where there's the secret meeting. Of course, at this museum there is the Foucault's pendulum, which is if it's a pendulum that's hung in space, and it it's a long, it's set to like a certain length so that as it swings across the floor, it can mark the seconds in the day, and basically it's hung in the air and the Earth is turning around underneath it. So if it were in a vacuum, it wouldn't require any additional uh, help, but since it's on Earth, the pendulum does require a magnetic push here and there. So I think the whole the kind of the theme, I guess, is these conspiracy theories are self perpetuating, much like the pendulum. It would go back and forth, but it every so often it needs a nudge to keep it moving. Otherwise, it'd probably just wither on the vine and stop. But the uh, the three editors are provided the nudge to bring this plan about, and it kind of culminates in a little about the only action in the book is towards the end. Otherwise, it's just a lot of thought uh, provoking dialogue and uh, interactions. But overall, it's a good book, but it is a little heavy. Has um, a lot of Latin and French in it that isn't translated for you, so has a lot of historical references. So you might find yourself googling or grokking or looking up different different things to kind of find out what they're talking about. So it is a little bit cumbersome that way, but it was a good story, good interesting read, and of course Umberto Eco, he's a semiotic professor, which is he loves symbols. He's a professor of symbols, and of course, a lot of his books are about conspiracy theories, and this is one of them. And it's just a really interesting thing how the conspiracy theory is like self perpetuating. It's hard to tell what's real, what's not. But I thought it was interesting too because it seems like a lot of these conspiracy theories or secret societies are still active today. They might still be, responsible for a lot of those strange things going on, and of course, the New World Order and all the stuff that is hinted at in government conspiracies and stuff. So it's a good book, interesting read. Not one of my favorite. I did try to read it a while ago, when I was younger, when it first came out, and I could not get into it. So I did try it again. I slogged through it, and it was an enjoyable book, but it probably not as satisfying as other books of his. Um, it but if you're into this kind of thing, into conspiracy theories, into arcane knowledge, it'll give you good information, and you can also, points where you can dig for further information. So, hope you enjoy it. If you got any comments or suggestions on, maybe something could clarify, go ahead and leave a comment and like and subscribe if you want, and we'll see you next time.